Welcome to the His and Hers show with Jody
and Alex Misiak.
And last episode we talked about going with the flow, and today we're going to share what happens when you don't.
Yes, or maybe really some worst case scenarios of what happens when you don't.
And what could happen, or really why it's happening. We kind of shared a little bit last episode, but let's go into this a little deeper.
Okay. So,
do you want to share your story first?
No, actually, because mine's funnier in retrospect, and yours happened in the past.
Mine's later though.
Okay, well, I can share mine first. That's all right. I don't. Either way, you guys are gonna hear this. So, okay. So we had a lot of snow recently, and we do have a snowblower. So I got the snowblower out. I was busy that day at work, but I'm like, I can get the snowblower out and blow some snow before I have to go get the kids, or possibly just Anastasia. I can't remember. So I'm snow blowing, and I'm like, okay, moving along. And our neighbors are really nice, and they snow blow our sidewalk sometimes, and
even our driveway,
or even our driveway if it's flat and clean. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll go snow blow their side of it, right? So I'm snow blowing along, and then all of a sudden it's like horrible noises, and then like paper shoots out of the chute, and then the whole thing just dies, just stops dead. And I'm like, what? So we have, our neighborhood gets these bundles of basically flyers, trash, junk mail. We get them and we put them in our recycling bin like the same day or the day after, basically. But the snow had fallen so quickly and so fast that it actually covered our neighbor's newspaper, and it was on their sidewalk, and thus it ended up inside of our snowblower, and thus caused it to seize and stop. So I am livid at this point. I am not a happy camper. I'm laughing about it now.
So am I, because I wasn't very happy there.
No, well, you were less happy when I'm getting to that point.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm livid, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I couldn't get it. It was jammed in there. Like, it's technically it's still in there. I haven't had a chance to, figure out how to fix it. But here's what I did in my act of, out of like desperation and not thinking
anger and
frustration, because I was quite angry at the time.
You didn't come tell me about it.
No, I didn't come tell you about it because I'm like, I don't want to bother you about it. I'm angry and upset. So I brought the snowblower back to our driveway, and I started trying to get it out. Nothing was happening. I'm like, well, it's just... And then I don't know where this idea came from, but I'm glad you're laughing about it now.
We couldn't share the story when you first did this because I would have been angry at you still.
Angry, yeah, so time heals, I suppose. So an idea popped in my head, like, well, it's just paper. It should burn.
There's plastic in there too, though.
The plastic I'm pretty sure the plastic had ended up going out through the chute, or as much of it as possible. There's probably a little bit still in there. Who knows? We'll find out whenever we fix it. So stay tuned for that episode update of our snowblower. So I grabbed a barbecue lighter from inside.
Without telling me, I was nearby.
No, without telling you. I didn't even think to, like, this is how you're not supposed to act. I should have shared immediately, and it probably would have stopped right there. I've
been like, stop.
Probably would have been all angry, but it would have been less anger eventually. So then I proceeded to go outside and then set the paper on fire. And that's, a long pause for this to sink into our listeners. But yeah, so this brilliant idea to burn the paper. Well, like, I guess the short answer, it didn't work. And
it just made your wife really unhappy.
Yeah, everything stinks like smoke.
Including you.
Including me.
Our garage.
Our garage for a bit there. The snowblower itself. I hope I didn't do any permanent damage to the snowblower. Everything still looks okay. Nothing's melted. But
tell them what you did because you had to go get Anastasia from school.
Right. So
You didn't tell me. You still
No, I
didn't
still
tell
didn't tell
me.
you at this point because I'm like, I can't leave a fire burning on our. Because I'm like, it's a snowblower. There's gas in a snowblower. I'm like, this was in the chute. So I'm like, okay, it's far enough away from the chute. Still convincing myself this is a good idea. It's like, this is fine. But it didn't help. So I'm trying to put out the fire and it wasn't really going out. Like there was still embers and there was just so much paper because I don't know, like it's like a pound of flyers. Like it's just insane. And it's all jammed up.
I think there's a newspaper in there too. It's like newspaper and flyers.
Okay. So the news is, anyways, so it's all in there. And it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't getting out. But there was enough embers and enough wind that the fire wasn't going out. Like it would go out, like I'd knock it out, and then it would start back up again.
You should have called me. We could have been roasting s'mores.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, that's what would have happened. You would have just broke out the s'mores. No, more likely something that would have been a different reaction. So, anyways, I then jammed it into a snowbank and filled the chute with snow. So I'm like, okay, there's no way there's no oxygen now, so the fire will go out and I'm okay. And then I can go get Anastasia. And at that point, I wasn't angry anymore, but I was very sad about it, the whole situation. And got Anastasia, got her back, put the snowblower away. Or then did I tell you afterwards? Because again, it's like, this is not the kind of information my brain was telling me. This is not the kind of information you tell your wife after you bring a kid in, because this is going to start a fight. So let's not do it right this moment in front with the kids around. And then it came up later, and it was just like all of this could have been avoided. Like it could have stopped right at the point where I had just run over the newspaper and the snowblower was toast. I should have stopped right there. Instead, I'm really hoping I didn't make anything worse by acting like quickly and out of desperation, but it was like I didn't make anything better, so I should have just not bothered. I should have just stopped and come back at it, like put it away for a while and come back at it with a clear head. So yeah, there's my example, listeners, of when you're supposed to go with the flow more and stop fighting. Because my expectation was I need the snowblower.
I need to fix it now.
I need to fix it now because I need the snowblower now because there's lots of snow now. So I didn't fix it. I potentially made it worse. I got myself upset, got you upset, possibly made the snowblower worse, really hoping I didn't. And I still had to go out there without a snowblower. So all this negative connotations, emotions, and all this like pain could have been avoided at the start if I just stopped and then went back inside and talked to you. Maybe got angry a bit outside, then came back in with a clear head and said, okay, this is what's happened.
And you could have talked it through with your wife that had, could have open time for you. So why are we sharing this story with you? It just demonstrates that sometimes we react before we think. Clearly,
yeah,
that
happened. Yeah, absolutely. Or I didn't think enough. How about that? Yeah.
Or you thought you thought with the emotions under it.
Yes.
So what it is so when you get into these things I won't lie, I was mad because this isn't the first time you reacted before.
You're thinking it through.
Yeah, and you let your emotions dictate your
actions.
Logic and your actions.
Yeah.
So when we let our emotions dictate our actions, that's usually when, especially if they're, guilt, shame, anger, frustration.
I'm pretty sure those were all there at that point. Yeah.
The shame and guilt probably came a little. Actually, it could have been with the overrunning.
Yeah,
the thing.
They're all there.
So when we're feeling those, we're not going to be thinking clearly. We're not going to be taking action. Even if you would have just moved from a place of love, be like, okay. Or even just neutral, like somehow. It's just breathing
remember going up the ladder. It's like there's no way I was going from where I was straight to love, but I could have gone up a couple rungs before doing any actions. Like, for sure.
So it's really is super important, and I will share a story where I also acted. I had a really good one too of like what's really good when you come from a place of love and stuff too, and I've forgotten that story. I should have wrote it down, but I do have another one of. When you have a sense of urgency. But it is really important to slow down. So when things are happening, and I have said before that anger is really like rocket fuel for like, change and change and movement, but you still have to be grounded on some kind of level. Like if you let that anger completely, like think about like when you're like in complete anger, like I'm going to prove it to you. And like, that's when you slash people's tires, you know, crazy things happen out of a different place of anger.
That was a really good analogy with the, you're going to remember your story. I'm not going to derail you too much.
Fine,
okay,
yes,
good.
yeah.
So like the rocket fuel analogy is excellent because if anger is rocket fuel, but so what do you do with rocket fuel? If you put it in a rocket and you know where the rocket's going, and there's actually a lot of people involved in getting a rocket to where it needs to go. So that's the planning part of it. That's where you got to stop and think and go, okay, what can I use this fuel for and how am I going to use it? The other way around, the other side of the analogy is if you don't have any of that in place, you're not thinking, you don't have a team thinking about how to use that fuel to get you where you need to go, you just have a very flammable, very explosive thing that blows up.
Could do some serious damage.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's why I love that analogy.
Yeah,
so.
Awesome. Thanks. But it's really, yeah. So if you're get yourself caught in moments of this, is really just take a moment, talk it out with somebody if you can. Even if the other person's going to yell at you, it's probably going to end up like it could be a good thing. Might save you some other time.
Yeah.
Or just for me now, I'll share my story. The thing is, though, too, if it's a big decision now, I actually sleep on it. I let at least 1 or more days happen. Because if I ever find myself where I have to make a decision right now, like if you find people are like, here's a deal or a sale, it's like, you need to buy it in the next hour or the next 12 hours or something like that, I say, no, thank you. I don't need to feel pushed to make those decisions. Now, I do get like doors closing for certain things because I even have a group coaching program where it's like, well, once we start, you know, like the doors are closed.
Right.
But that's not an urgency. That's just a time. And like I usually give a month's notice, and you got to be able to think things through. So that leads into my story. When we were house shopping, what is it, over 6 years ago now, probably closer to 7. Yep. I think it was in the winter. Our real estate agent is really amazing, but she was on holidays or something away. So we had this stand-in guy for our real estate agent.
We did, yep.
And he showed us this nice home, and I was really excited because it was a really, really inexpensive for the home, the new age, like the age of the house and things like that. And the backyard was actually a fairly good size too for the neighborhood, but it was low. It was priced low because like the realtor was saying how they wanted to have a bidding war or something like that. Yeah. Remember?
Yep.
But anyway, so he's like, if you don't, you have to, like, pretty much she was saying we had to act now or else we were going to lose the house. Mm-hmm. So what do we do? Like, I kind of like the house, but there was still a lot of things in my head. Like, I didn't really sit in. It didn't sink in that I didn't take it all in. But I did, like, it had a walk-in closet and heated floors in the bathroom. And so I was focusing on all the things I love. And I was like, yes, and it's a really good price. And so we signed papers. We're like, yeah, let's put it in. And we got it. And then I was like, oh my God, what did we do? Like, that night I was laying in bed and I was like, I don't like the house.
Right, yeah.
I acted out of desperation and panic. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, it's a great price. And I think a part of me was just kind of sick of house shopping. And I wasn't even the biggest fan of the neighborhood. It was on like that court where there's like no anything. Like there's just
like everything's
like no front yards or
no side yards. Like everyone's sort of packed in pretty tightly to each other. Right, sure.
So anyways, so we had to backpedal, and I think it made the realtor a little upset with us. But that's what happens, and this is now why I sleep on any big decision. I sleep on it overnight. If I can't get a house, it wasn't meant to be. Like now it's like I need to take time to think about it.
Yeah.
Because and I like doing my research and things like that. So that was me acting on like you have to act now kind of thing and feeling pressured. Which is so funny because we never felt that at all with our own real estate agent. Like no one's fault but my own of acting, but it's just so funny how one person can make you feel like I gotta move, I gotta do things. Yeah. And another one's like giving you space. So you just have to, so if somebody's not giving you space, you got to find your own space.
Yeah, push back.
I don't know about pushing back, but like, or just, step back, or just be honest. Be like, I need to take time. Like,
well, that's what I meant by push back. Like, not.
It can be from so many different emotions. So that was more of like a sense of urgency. And then I've made other decisions where I am so happy. I acted, fairly quickly. With Ellen, we found out about it. We had to respond, and we were literally like, oh, yeah, like that was a no-brainer. Like, let's do Ellen. But you can make really awesome decisions when you're in a place of love or like any of the higher emotions and courage. And like just on the empowerment scale, you can really make some cool decisions. Like when I went to San Francisco for a masterclass, I was like, yes. Like I didn't have to think about that. It was just coming from those places.
Yeah, those snap decisions are coming from a better place. So,
yes, yeah.
And they tend to turn out better for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I really would I wish I could remember the story. I was hoping that since we were talking, it would come back to me because I had, I remember writing down for our notes. It was going to be three stories. And I can't remember what the third one is.
Well, we have lots of, and we've shared some of them here on the podcast. We have lots of little examples of those kinds of things where we don't act like when we hear bad news. Like we did the thing with Anastasia's, her letters, right? Like that was a case where we could have acted out of a lower energy and a lower emotional state, like being like, oh man, we got to do something quick, or we got to do something fast, or right, or
and you and I both sat down.
We both sat down. We talked about it, not in front of her at first, right, and then we came up with a much.
But the funny thing is, you and I actually took time on our own first. I read the note and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
and you did the same thing separately. We didn't even talk to each other about it. And then it was only later that I discovered.
Yeah, but that was the thing, right? We both had the same kind of reaction.
Yes.
Like, oh no, she's struggling at school, right? Like and that immediately kicked us down to a lower emotional level. But we didn't act in that lower emotional level. We just sort of...
I almost did. I was on Amazon and I was like, what can I get to help with letters? And I almost spent like lots of money on things for letters.
I'm almost certain that that's
but I didn't.
A definite sales tactic of many companies is they want you to buy this, and that's the whole like, hey, limited time only, or buy now, or order now within this, and then get this thing, and it's all smoke and mirrors to just get you to buy, and then
you just
be
get
like,
it,
oh no,
quick.
Now I'm stuck with this thing.
Act on it, yeah. But I almost did. I was like, I had so many things in the cart, and then you and I talked about it, and I think even that night you even started doing letters with her. I'm like, oh. That's simple. We just need a piece of paper and some crayons or pencil crayons. I'm like, I don't need to buy all those, fancy flashcards and all that stuff. So,
I mean, if we thought about it and came up with and thought, oh yeah, this could work, or like if Anastasia had mentioned like, yeah, we use flashcards and I like to do flashcards. Can we have flashcards? But we came up with something entirely different and it worked.
And it worked really well because then you were having her pick out the colors, and it's really cool because now she's really getting really good at her letters. So. Yeah. But yeah, that's what happens when you can take a step back. So sometimes like you can be in a higher emotion and you'll know when you're happy and things are going at the flow, and life's just feeling almost like a sense of easy because you're not pushing, you're not going against the current. Those are times where you can probably make that decision then. But when things show up in your life, and like we talked about last episode, where they throw you curveballs, or you suck up a newspaper with the snowblower, pause. Hit that big pause button.
Yeah, check in.
And just stop. I don't even care at that point. You don't even have to check in. If you're angry, just be.
Oh yeah, be. But then check in before you do anything else.
Oh yeah, like you got not even just check in. You just need to like switch gears.
Yeah.
Get off the focus of what happened, and you can't even dwell on things like that. In my opinion, it's just like you can be mad and you get angry, and then it's like, okay, well, it happened.
Yeah. It might do well actually to when something like that, like with the snowblower incident. would have been better to just talk it out. And had I been by myself, and this is for people who are, run, because you're not always going to have somebody you can immediately run to talk to. Write it out.
Yes.
Write a letter to yourself. Be like, well, this is what happened. Right? And
you can even just talk it out to yourself, though. I think something like that, like if you really want to journal about it, you can. Then shove it in your snowblower and, light it on fire. No. You can just talk it out. Like I hear you in the basement a lot, just talking to yourself. You can just have a conversation with yourself, and it can be an angry one and be like, why did I do this? And like, oh my goodness. Like, and just having it because it's going on in your head anyways. Talk it out loud. And then let it out. That's
true. And that does get it out. But I think, and so you don't end up like for people like me, maybe if you don't want to end up in a spiral where you're just constantly talking around and around and around. So I feel that if I wrote it down, you don't, because the act of writing is I think it takes a little more effort than just talking. You might not send yourself in so many circles. You'd be like, I just wrote this, right? And like you would just, and then it makes you slow down a bit more than just talking. Yeah. So definitely talk it out with yourself if you don't have anyone else to talk to, and pause. And then maybe if you find yourself spinning, maybe write it down. And by the time you're done that, all those emotions that swelled up at the time of the event, they're probably tamped down a bit. And then you can come at the problem in a better state. One
of the other things is simply go for a walk.
That's
you
true.
Get in a heated conversation with somebody, or you have a situation that has frustrated you. Before lighting anything on fire, go for a walk. Like seriously, in a conversation, like if you don't think you're going anywhere, and I did this a lot. My father and I are very much alike. We are very opinionated and very stubborn, and I've learned to go with the flow a little bit more and be flexible and with my thinking and everything. But I, as a teenager, left the lunch table a lot, and even back then I knew, like, we just go at it back and forth, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to end this conversation. He's not going to end the conversation, so I just walked away. Now sometimes that might feel like cowardness or whatever, but
giving up.
But it's not. Like, you can come back later. Maybe you can pick up the conversation in a different way. I don't think we ever did, so I kind of missed the second part of the puzzle. But sometimes you got to walk away, and it could be as simple as like, this is not going anywhere right now. How about we just walk in separate directions for now, and we'll meet up later. Like, it can be.
I can see that helping a lot in a work environment, an office environment.
Sometimes you just have to walk away. And it could be even with yourself. Like, you have a situation, like the snowblower. Sorry, keep going back because it's just an example. It's an example. But even that, like, if you would have just went for a walk or anything, like, it could have just, like, a walk around the block or just anything to kind of just take you away from the situation. It could be as simple as that for those things. Journaling is fine, but like sometimes you don't need to go that deep to just let go. It was an event that triggered, right?
Yeah.
And it was just more so that you were in a rush because you're like, you got to fit this in and you got to do this, and oh my goodness, I have all this snow, and you're just constantly like worrying, and you're already building yourself up probably in a tizzy before you even started snow blowing, because I know you.
Yeah.
Most of our neighbors probably know you when you're out there shoveling, cleaning the snow. However, and then that was just like the tipping point for you. Blowing the newspaper out the spout and having the snowblower not work. So it's really just about walking away. Making sure that the snowblower's tucked away, that kind of thing, and then just walk away from the situation. And just come back clear-headed. It can be as simple as that. Walk away. Put some music on. Like for me, I would put, if I can't get out, I'd be putting some music on. I love audiobooks for this now too. I have an audio app on my phone, so I can literally just put something on. And it just switches the conversation going on in my head.
Right, yeah.
Because that's journaling's great, and I have nothing wrong. Like, that's what our listeners want to do when they get into that point. But I find journaling's more to deal with the emotions that are happening that came up from our childhood. And maybe you could be journaling, and it could be like, why do I always get frustrated when my expectations when my expectations don't live up to my expectations.
Yeah.
Kind of deal,
when reality doesn't match my expectations. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just, in my opinion, I would just walk away, cool down in those kind of situations. But if you're triggered by people or like other things that, because I'm sure like you could journal on that as well. It probably does run deeper, but for people, definitely if people trigger, I'm definitely a big fan of journaling for that. But it really depends. And let's just leave it with do what feels right to you, because that's really what it comes down to.
So, something that gets you out of that headspace so that you're not necessarily acting when you're at a lower emotional state and thus liable to very much regret
blow up your house
or very much regret the decision, the decisions or the actions that you made following those moments.
I have a very fiery wife.
Yes.
Anyways, yes. So, yeah, don't let those emotions dictate your actions, especially the negative ones.
Yes. Take that time so that you're not acting based on emotions. Because that's where a lot of regrets come from. I think that's where a lot of them come from.
When we act,
those snap decisions when we're not our best selves, we're not thinking clearly, and then that because you've acted, now it becomes a regret. Yeah. But if you stopped yourself before then, it's just a could have been.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is, I do want to just add quickly, is it's okay to have these emotions. Like, and we have talked about it. The first episode of March was about like understanding your emotions, and it's okay. Like, we're all human. We all, we can get frustrated at the snowblower. We can get, we can make decisions that we can regret later. It happens, but it's like, it's being aware of them and really just try not to act in them. And if you have, it's about, then you have to, that's a whole different conversation, forgiveness. But it's just, if you can pause, hit that pause button. If it helps, if you're that type of person that does act before you think, or you're being triggered by your emotions and running off emotions, actually cut out and create a pause button. Like, have it around you and just pause. I gotta pause and just pause.
A physical cue.
Just pause. Because, but we've all been there. I'm almost certain if you talk to almost any person, as long as they're being honest with you, they've probably done something that they're, one, not proud of. And it's probably based out of, those, emotions dictating their actions. So it's okay that it's been done, and here, give yourself a hug, and then just really just being mindful of when it happens and slow it down or hit the pause button.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we hope this helps. Thank you, Alex, for sharing your story with us.
Thanks for laughing along with me now. It's good to be able to look back on such a thing and laugh now, which is good.
Yes. It would not have been possible the day or two around it.
Yeah, well.
Anyways, we hope you have a beautiful day.
Bye for now.